You people need to know your place. This isn't for you. Brenda Martinez's lips curled with disgust as she spoke, her voice dripping condescension. She stood up from her desk and physically stepped between Amara and the VIP lounge entrance, arms crossed like a human barricade. Security, get this woman out of here before she bothers our real guests. Marcus Williams moved fast, his meaty hand clamped down on Amara's arm, fingers digging into her cardigan as he spun her toward the elevator. Come on, lady, time to go back where you came from. Amara's briefcase tilted, medical files threatening to spill. Inside were surgical notes worth millions, but Marcus saw only another problem to remove from his pristine VIP area. Sarah Mitchell's phone captured every second. Her live stream exploded. 2,000 viewers, then 5,000, climbing fast. Comments flooded in real time. Have you ever been treated like you were nothing by people who had no idea they were talking to everything? The elevator doors closed behind Amara with a soft thud, but she didn't press any buttons. Instead, she pulled out her phone and opened the hospital's internal app. Her fingers moved with surgical precision across the screen. Badge logged. B. Martinez, VIP reception supervisor. Badge logged. M. Williams, security level 2. Timestamp 27 p.m. Marcus demanded, still gripping her arm. I said move. Documentation, Amara replied calmly. Her voice carried no anger, just clinical detachment for compliance purposes. Back at the VIP desk, Brenda was already spinning the story to her colleague, Jennifer, and the newly arrived floor supervisor, Janet Reed. Her voice carried across the marble lobby, intentionally loud enough for other patients to hear. Another one trying to scam her way into the executive lounge. They think if they dress down and act pitiful, we'll just let them waltz in. Brenda's manicured nails clicked against her desk as she spoke. Probably here for charity care and thought she'd try the VIP treatment first. Jennifer shifted uncomfortably. She seemed educated. Professional. Brenda's laugh was sharp enough to cut glass. Honey, I've been doing this for 15 years. I can spot a fraud from across the lobby. Look at those shoes. Clearance rack special. That briefcase is older than my car. She leaned in conspiratorially. I bet she doesn't even have real insurance. These people always try to work the system. Janet Reed nodded along, her supervisor instincts kicking in. Good catch, Brenda. We can't let them think our standards are negotiable. The board specifically emphasized maintaining the exclusivity of this space. 20 feet away, Sarah's live stream was exploding. The viewer count hit 12,000 and climbing like a rocket. Comments streamed past faster than she could read them. At Justice Warrior 47, what hospital is this? At Medical Mama, I'm a nurse and this is disgusting. At Truth Teller 89. Someone find out who she is. At Health Advocate. This is 2025 and we're still seeing this. Sarah whispered into her phone, positioning herself for the perfect angle. Y'all, this is Metro General Hospital in downtown. This woman is being discriminated against right now. Share this stream. Tag your friends. This needs to go viral. The elevator suddenly opened. Amara stepped out, but instead of leaving, she walked back toward the VIP reception with the same measured pace. Marcus scrambled after her, his radio crackling to life. Ma'am, I told you to leave the premises. Board meeting starts in 8 minutes, Amara said quietly, checking her watch. It was elegant, but understated. A PC Felipe worth more than Marcus made in 6 months. The face caught the lobby's crystal chandelier light briefly, but Marcus saw only defiance in a woman who wouldn't stay in her place. Brenda's head snapped, up from her conversation. Excuse me, did you just say board meeting? Amara approached the desk with measured steps, her worn sneakers silent on the polished marble. From her briefcase, she withdrew a hospital parking tag, not the standard visitor pass, but a platinum VIP parking placard with executive embossed in gold letters. She placed it on the counter with deliberate precision. Brenda barely glanced at it, waving it away like shooing a fly. Anyone can fake those. They sell them online now. Security, get this woman out of here before she bothers our actual VIP guests. But Marcus was already there, this time bringing backup. Officer Rodriguez appeared from around the corner, hand resting on his radio. Behind him came Tom Bradley, the assistant hospital administrator, summoned by Janet's urgent text. Problem here, Marcus? Rodriguez asked, his eyes immediately cataloging Amara jeans, sneakers, natural hair in a simple bun. His conclusion was swift and certain. This woman won't leave the VIP area. Been asked multiple times. Claims she has some kind of meeting. Bradley stepped forward, his expensive suit and confident bearing marking him as management. Ma'am, I'm Tom Bradley, assistant administrator. There seems to be some confusion here. The executive conference facilities are reserved for hospital board members and major donors only. I'm sure you understand. The crowd was growing. Patients and their families had started gathering, phones out, recording from multiple angles. Sarah's live stream hit 23,000 viewers and was climbing exponentially. The hospital's main lobby buzzed with whispered conversations and the soft chime of notification alerts as the video spread across social platforms. At Healthcare Worker, this is why people don't trust hospitals. At Civil Rights 2025, lawsuit incoming at Drive. Mom M.D. Wait, is that at Patient Advocate? Share, share, share. Amara opened her wallet with deliberate slowness, like a magician preparing her next trick. She withdrew a card, platinum heavy stock, embossed with the hospital's logo and sealed with a holographic strip, a major donor card, the kind reserved for seven-figure contributors to the hospital foundation. She placed it beside the parking tag. Brenda's eyes flicked to it, then back to Amara's face. For the first time, uncertainty crept into her voice. These can be forged. I've seen sophisticated fakes before. But she leaned forward slightly, squinting at the holographic security features. 3 minutes until the meeting, Amara said softly, pulling out her phone again. She speed dialed a number, speaker volume just high enough for the growing audience to hear. It went straight to voicemail. Catherine, this is Dr. Johnson. I'm running late for the board meeting. Please inform the members we have a situation that requires immediate attention. I'll be documenting everything for our next review session. Dr. Patricia Chen walked past carrying medical files, her hospital ID swinging from a lanyard. She glanced at the commotion, her eyes meeting Amara's for just a moment. Recognition flickered across her face like lightning, followed immediately by alarm and something approaching panic. Wait, excuse me, Dr. Chen started to speak, stepping toward the group. Dr. Chen, Brenda interrupted sharply, her authority voice in full effect. Please don't interfere with security matters. We have established protocols for handling these situations. Everything is under control. Patricia hesitated, looking between Amara and the growing circle of security personnel. The live stream camera caught her internal struggle duty wearing with discretion. Amara gave her the slightest shake of the head, a gesture so subtle only someone watching closely would catch it. Patricia reluctantly continued walking, but not before pulling out her own phone and typing rapidly. The live stream was now approaching 35,000 viewers, trending on multiple platforms simultaneously. Sarah had positioned herself for the perfect wide shot, capturing not just the confrontation, but the growing crowd of witnesses. Hospital staff members were starting to gather on the periphery, some looking increasingly uncomfortable with the public spectacle unfolding in their workplace. Ma'am, Rodriguez said, his voice taking on the harder edge of authority. This is your final warning. Leave voluntarily or we will escort you out in handcuffs. This is now trespassing. Amara checked her watch again. The second hand swept toward 2:58 p.m. 2 minutes, she said quietly, her voice carrying despite its softness. From her briefcase, she pulled out one more item. A first-class boarding pass from Swiss Air dated 3 days ago. The destination clearly visible, Zurich International Airport. In the corner, a conference badge was still attached. International Cardiac Surgery Symposium, keynote speaker. She'd addressed 2,000 of the world's top cardiac surgeons just 72 hours ago. But Brenda's eyes remained fixed on Amara's face, dismissing the accumulating evidence on her desk. I don't care if you flew first class to Mars. This area is restricted to people who actually belong here. Marcus stepped closer, his bulk casting a shadow over Amara's petite frame. Time's up, lady. You've caused enough trouble. The live stream hit 41,000 viewers. Comments were flying so fast the screen seemed to blur. 2:59 p.m. Amara's phone buzzed. A text from Catherine Walsh, hospital's CEO. Where are you? Board meeting starting. Emergency budget item first on agenda. Amara showed the screen to no one, simply typing back, delayed by your VIP reception staff. We'll explain everything in person. Document everything. 3:00 p.m. The board meeting had officially begun. Without its diversity and inclusion committee chair, behind the frosted glass doors, she could see figures moving around the conference table through the translucent barrier. Her nameplate sat at the head of the table. Dr. A Johnson committee chair beside an empty leather chair that faced directly toward the lobby. All right, that's it, Rodriguez announced, reaching for his handcuffs. Ma'am, you're officially trespassing on hospital property. Turn around. Hands behind your back. The crowd gasped collectively. Sarah's phone nearly slipped from her trembling hands as the live stream exploded to 52,000 viewers in real time. The moment felt electric, charged with the tension of injustice about to be compounded. Amara turned slowly to face the cameras, the crowd, the live stream that was now trending across multiple platforms with hashtags like #MetroGeneralDiscrimination and #HospitalRacism. Her expression remained serene, almost contemplative, like a chess master who had been planning this sequence of moves for years. She reached into her briefcase one final time. The crowd held its breath. What Amara pulled from her briefcase wasn't a weapon or a lawyer's card. It was a simple tablet computer, its screen already recording everything. Audio and video documentation active since 2:47 p.m., she announced calmly, holding the device so everyone could see the timestamp. 14 minutes and 37 seconds of continuous recording. Rodriguez froze, his handcuffs halfway out of their case. You can't record in here without permission. Actually, Amara's voice remained steady as silk. Hospital Policy 847C permits recording for patient advocacy and legal documentation purposes. Would you like me to cite the specific subsection? Brenda's face flushed red. Turn that thing off. This is harassment. This is evidence. Amara corrected. She tapped the screen showing multiple backup uploads already in progress. Cloud storage to 3 separate legal servers. Chain of custody preserved. The live stream exploded. 67,000 viewers and climbing like a rocket. Sarah's hands shook as she tried to keep her phone steady. The comment section moving so fast it was just a blur of outrage and support. At Legal Eagle 2025, she knows the law at Nurse Life. Policy 847C is real. I work there at Justice. Now this woman is prepared. Tom Bradley stepped forward, his administrator training kicking in. This was becoming a public relations nightmare in real time. Ma'am, I'm sure we can resolve this misunderstanding quietly. Perhaps we could discuss this in my office. The time for quiet discussion was 14 minutes ago, Amara replied, her tablet still recording. When your staff could have simply checked my credentials instead of assuming I didn't belong. 3:02 p.m. The board meeting was now running behind schedule because the diversity committee chair was being detained in the lobby. More hospital staff were gathering, nurses coming off shift, orderlies wheeling empty gurneys. Even some doctors had slowed their pace to watch the unfolding drama. The marble lobby buzzed with whispered conversations and the constant ping of phones as social media exploded. Dr. Patricia Chen appeared again, this time with 2 other physicians. She approached the group cautiously. Excuse me, Mr. Bradley, I think there's been a serious mistake here. Bradley held up his hand dismissively. Dr. Chen, I've got this under control. Please return to your duties. But sir, I really think you should drive. Chen, his voice carried warning now. I said, return to your duties. That's a direct order. Patricia stepped back, but her phone was already out, fingers flying across the screen. Behind her, drive. Michael Torres and Dr. Sarah Kim exchanged worried glances. They recognized Amara, too, but Bradley's authoritative tone made them hesitate. The live stream had hit 78,000 viewers. Sarah was narrating breathlessly. Y'all, this is insane. This woman has been calm this entire time. They're about to arrest her for what? Standing in a hospital lobby. Marcus moved closer, his radio crackling. Control, this is Williams. Need backup in the main lobby VIP area. Possible arrest situation. Copy that, Williams. Additional units en route. Amara heard the radio transmission. Her expression didn't change, but she made another notation on her tablet. 3:04 p.m. Additional security called despite no aggressive behavior from subject. Escalation pattern documented. Stop talking like you're some kind of investigator. Brenda snapped. You're nobody. Just another person trying to scam their way into somewhere they don't belong. The crowd surrounding them had grown to nearly 50 people. Patients in wheelchairs, families clutching visitor badges, hospital employees on their phones, some clearly calling supervisors or media contacts. The tension was thick enough to cut with a scalpel. Janet Reed, the floor supervisor, was getting nervous. This was supposed to be a simple trespassing removal. Instead, it was turning into a viral social media event. Her phone kept buzzing with calls from upper management. Maybe we should wait for hospital administration, she suggested quietly to Bradley. I am hospital administration, Bradley replied sharply. And I'm not going to let one disruptive individual turn our VIP area into a circus. 3:05 p.m. The board meeting was now 5 minutes behind schedule. Through the frosted glass, the silhouettes around the conference table were becoming restless. Amara's phone buzzed again. Another text from CEO Catherine Walsh. Emergency budget vote postponed until you arrive. What's happening? This time, Amara held up her phone so the live stream could see the message, not the content. That would be confidential, but the sender name. Catherine Walsh, CEO. Sarah caught it on camera. Did y'all see that? The CEO is texting her. The comments exploded at hospital worker 99 : OMG, is she connected to admin? At MedWatch, CEO doesn't text random people. At Truth Seeker, plot twist incoming. But Bradley was beyond listening to reason now. His authority had been challenged in front of dozens of witnesses and tens of thousands of online viewers. Backing down would be career suicide. I don't care who's texting you, he declared loudly. Rules are rules. This area is off limits and you're trespassing. 2 additional security guards arrived, Officers Thompson and Davis. The situation now had 5 security personnel surrounding one woman in jeans and sneakers. The optics were becoming increasingly problematic. All right, ma'am, Rodriguez announced, his handcuffs now fully visible. You're under arrest for criminal trespassing. You have the right to remain silent. The crowd gasped. Several people started shouting, this is wrong. She hasn't done anything. Someone call the news. The live stream hit 95,000 viewers. #MetroGeneral discrimination was trending nationally. Local news stations were picking up the story from social media feeds. Dr. Patricia Chen couldn't stay silent anymore. Stop. All of you, just stop. She pushed through the crowd, her physician's coat billowing behind her. Mr. Bradley, you need to know who. Dr. Chen, you're out of line. Bradley's voice boomed across the lobby. Security, please escort drive Chen back to her department. She's interfering with official business. Thompson moved toward Patricia, but she stood her ground. Tom, you're making a massive mistake. That woman is I don't care who she thinks she is. Bradley's composure was cracking under the pressure. She could be the Queen of England for all I care. She doesn't have authorization to be in the VIP area. The irony wasn't lost on the growing crowd. They were witnessing a hospital administrator lose his mind over a quiet woman who had done nothing but ask for access to an area where she apparently had legitimate business. 3:07 p.m. The board meeting was now 7 minutes behind schedule. Amara checked her watch, the same gesture she'd been making all along, but now it carried different weight. She wasn't just tracking time anymore. She was counting down to something. Officer Rodriguez, she said quietly, extending her wrists. I understand you're following orders. Please proceed with the arrest. The live stream audience went wild at Civil Rights 2025. She's letting them arrest her at Legal Mind Strategic Compliance. She's documenting everything at Viral News. This is about to explode. But as Rodriguez reached for Amara's wrists, his radio crackled again. This time the voice was different. Higher authority, urgent tone. All units, Code Blue Administrative, repeat. Code Blue Administrative, stand down all enforcement actions in the main lobby immediately. Stand down and hold position. Rodriguez froze. Code Blue Administrative meant direct orders from hospital executive leadership. He looked at Bradley, confusion written across his face. Bradley's phone started ringing, then Janet's, then Brenda's. Then all their phones were ringing simultaneously. The cascade of emergency calls that happens when a situation has escalated beyond local control. The live stream hit 112,000 viewers. 3:08 p.m. Behind the frosted glass doors, the conference room had erupted in activity. Figures were standing, moving urgently, gesturing toward the lobby. Someone was pointing directly at the group gathered around Amara. The board meeting had been suspended. Amara checked her watch one more time. 17 minutes, she said quietly, just loud enough for the live stream to catch. 17 minutes of documented bias, escalation, and violation of hospital policies. Her tablet beeped softly. All recordings had been automatically uploaded and distributed to pre-selected recipients. The frosted glass doors began to open. Catherine Walsh emerged from the frosted glass doors like a hurricane in a business suit. The hospital CEO's face was a mask of barely controlled fury, but not directed at the woman in jeans and sneakers. Her laser focus landed squarely on Tom Bradley. "What the hell is going on here?" Her voice could have frozen blood. Bradley straightened, confident in his authority. "Catherine, I've got this under control. This woman has been disrupting the VIP area, refusing to leave." "And this woman," Catherine interrupted, her voice dropping to a whisper that somehow carried across the entire lobby, "is Dr. Amara Johnson." The live stream exploded. 127,000 viewers and climbing. Comments flew past like machine gunfire at "OMG, no way. Did she just say doctor?" At Hospital T, plot twist of the century at medical drama. They tried to arrest a doctor, but Catherine wasn't finished. Her next words hit like a sledgehammer. "She's the chief of cardiac surgery. She's performed over 3,200 heart operations in this hospital. She's saved more lives in this building than anyone in this lobby will in their entire careers." Brenda's face drained of all color. The donor card, the VIP parking tag, the first-class boarding pass. Suddenly, every piece of evidence she dismissed came flooding back with crystal clarity. Marcus stepped backward, his hand falling away from his radio. "Chief of but she's what, Marcus?" Catherine's voice could have cut steel. "Please finish that sentence." Rodriguez looked like he wanted the marble floor to swallow him whole. The handcuffs hung uselessly from his belt. "Ma'am, we had no way of knowing." "No way of knowing." Catherine's laugh was sharp enough to draw blood. "She showed you her VIP parking pass, her major donor card. She mentioned a board meeting. Did anyone think to simply ask for her hospital ID?" The silence stretched like a taut wire about to snap. Sarah's live stream had hit 156,000 viewers. She was whispering into her phone. "Y'all, this is the most incredible plot twist I have ever witnessed in my life. Doctor." Patricia Chen stepped forward, her voice shaking with suppressed emotion. "I tried to tell them. 3 times I tried to explain, but Mr. Bradley ordered me to return to my duties." Catherine's head swiveled toward Bradley like a predator spotting prey. "You ordered a physician to ignore a colleague being mistreated. A cardiac surgeon being threatened with arrest." Bradley's confident facade was crumbling like sand. She didn't identify herself properly. "We have protocols." "Protocols." Amara spoke for the first time since the revelation, her voice still calm as still water. "Tom, I'd like to review those protocols, specifically the ones that require patients and staff to prove they belong based on their appearance." She opened her tablet, scrolling through screens of data. "Because according to Hospital Policy 847C, which I helped draft, discrimination based on appearance, dress, or assumed socioeconomic status is grounds for immediate termination." The live stream comments were moving too fast to read. At Legal Eagle 2025, she helped write the policy at Justice Served. "They're so fired at karma is real. This is beautiful." Catherine looked at the tablet in Amara's hands. "Please tell me you recorded everything." 17 minutes and 43 seconds of continuous audio and video. Amara confirmed. "Already uploaded to legal servers with chain of custody documentation timestamped, geotagged, and witness verified through live streaming." She tapped her screen showing the upload confirmations. "Copies have been automatically distributed to the hospital's legal department, the State Medical Board, the Joint Commission, and the Department of Health and Human Services." Brenda finally found her voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. "Dr. Johnson, we didn't know." "You didn't know because you didn't ask," Amara replied, her tone remaining professorial rather than vindictive. You made assumptions based entirely on my appearance. Jeans and sneakers meant I couldn't possibly belong in your VIP area. She gestured toward her simple outfit. These clothes. I wore them because I came directly from surgery. 3 operations this morning. Mrs. Patterson's triple bypass successful. Mr. Chen's valve replacement successful. 7-year-old Maria's congenital repair successful. The crowd was dead silent, hanging on every word. I changed out of my scrubs because they were covered in blood from saving lives. I put on these clothes, comfortable clothes, because I had 17 minutes between surgery and the board meeting to grab coffee and review budget documents. Catherine's phone was buzzing incessantly. She glanced at it and her face went even paler. Amara, this is trending nationally. Number 3 hashtag Metro General discrimination is the number 3 hashtag in the country. The live stream had broken 200,000 viewers. News outlets were picking up the story in real time. Sarah could see reporters rushing toward the hospital entrance through the lobby windows. Bradley made one last desperate attempt to salvage his authority. Dr. Johnson, surely we can resolve this internally. Perhaps some sensitivity training for the staff. Amara's laugh was soft, almost musical. Tom, you just ordered security to arrest the hospital's chief of cardiac surgery for trying to attend a board meeting. You threatened me with handcuffs for standing in a lobby. She held up her tablet, showing the recording timeline. At 2:52, I was told people like me don't belong here. At 254, I was physically grabbed and turned toward the exit. At 257, I was called one of those people trying to scam the system. Each time stamp hit like a physical blow. The live stream audience was in complete meltdown. At Surgeon Life, a cardiac surgeon, they tried to arrest a cardiac surgeon. At Medical Ethics, this is the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. At Heart Patient, Drive, Johnson saved my life last year. These people are monsters. But Amara wasn't finished. She had one more revelation that would change everything. Catherine, there's something else the staff doesn't know. She reached into her briefcase and withdrew a leather portfolio. From it, she extracted an official document with the hospital's letterhead. As of this morning's emergency board vote, the one I was coming to discuss, I've been appointed as the new Director of Patient Experience and Institutional Equity. The silence that followed was deafening. Effective immediately, I have authority to review all patient and visitor complaints, investigate bias incidents, and recommend personnel actions for discrimination violations. She looked around the circle of security guards and staff members, her expression serene, but her words carrying the weight of absolute authority. Which means, Tom, that you didn't just try to arrest a cardiac surgeon. You tried to arrest your new supervisor. The live stream hit 234,000 viewers. The story was breaking on major news networks. And in the cardiac surgery wing, Amara Johnson's patients were watching their surgeon become a legend in real time. Bradley's legs seemed to give out. He sagged against the reception desk, the full magnitude of his mistake finally sinking in, but Amara had saved the biggest revelation for last. She pulled out her phone showing a single contact entry. Board chair, emergency line. Tom, I need to make one more call to report a code black incident to the board of directors. Her finger hovered over the call button. A code black incident requiring immediate review of all involved personnel for potential termination. The call connected on the first ring. Dr. Johnson, this is Board Chair Roberts. We've been monitoring the situation through social media. The entire board is assembled in emergency session. Amara held the phone slightly away from her ear, ensuring the live stream and gathering crowd could hear every word. 234,000 viewers held their collective breath. Chairman Roberts, I'm invoking Protocol 7 under the hospital's crisis management charter. We have a code black discrimination incident with multiple policy violations, documented bias, and significant reputational damage already occurring in real time. Understood. What's the current status? Amara's voice remained clinical, detached. 5 staff members involved in discriminatory actions. 17 minutes of documented evidence. National media attention with over 200,000 live witnesses. Estimated financial exposure escalating by the minute. Bradley tried to interrupt. Dr. Johnson, please, let's discuss this privately. Tom. Chairman Roberts's voice cut through the phone speaker. Is that you? Are you the administrator involved in this incident? Bradley's face went ashen. The board chairman knew his voice. This was worse than a termination offense. This was career suicide in the healthcare industry. Sir, I can explain. You'll have your chance in formal proceedings. Right now, I need drive. Johnson's assessment of financial exposure. Amara consulted her tablet, pulling up real-time analytics that made the crowd gasp. Current social media reach, 2.3 million impressions across platforms. Negative sentiment 94%. Stock price impact Metro Healthcare Network down 6.8% since the story broke. That's approximately $89 million in market cap loss. The live stream comments exploded at Stockwatcher. $89 million loss in 1 hour at Investor Alert. Sell, sell, sell at Finance News. This is a corporate disaster. Catherine Walsh stepped closer, her phone showing emergency alerts from the hospital's legal department. Amara, our risk management team, is projecting potential lawsuit settlements between 2 to 8 million if this goes to federal court. Civil rights violations, emotional distress, punitive damages. That assumes we settle quickly, Amara corrected calmly. If this drags out with daily media coverage and social media amplification, we're looking at significantly higher exposure, plus regulatory reviews from 3 separate agencies. She scrolled through her tablet. The Joint Commission will want to review our patient care equality standards. The Department of Health and Human Services will investigate our compliance with federal anti-discrimination laws. The State Medical Board will examine whether our institutional practices create hostile environments for minority healthcare providers. Chairman Roberts's voice crackled through the phone speaker. What are your recommendations, Drive? Johnson. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The live stream peaked at 267,000 viewers. News crews were setting up outside the hospital. The story was trending above national politics. Immediate termination of all staff involved in discriminatory actions. Amara began consulting notes she'd been taking throughout the ordeal. Mandatory bias training for all patient F-facing employees with quarterly refresher sessions. Implementation of a real-time discrimination reporting system with external oversight. Agreed. What else? Financial accountability measures. I recommend a $500,000 donation to the National Medical Association's Diversity Scholarship Fund, plus $250,000 for local community health programs specifically serving underserved populations. Bradley made a strangled sound. Janet Reed looked like she might faint. Brenda was openly crying at her desk, but Amara wasn't finished. Additionally, I recommend establishing an independent patient equity review board with external community members, monthly public reporting on discrimination incidents, and a whistleblower protection program for staff who report bias incidents. Chairman Roberts was quiet for a moment. Dr. Johnson, those are comprehensive reforms. The board will need to vote. Actually, Chairman Roberts, they don't. Amara's voice carried a note of quiet authority that made everyone lean forward. As the newly appointed Director of Patient Experience and Institutional Equity, I have emergency powers to implement immediate corrective measures during Code Black incidents. She held up the official appointment letter she'd shown earlier. Section 12C of my appointment charter grants authority to take any and all necessary actions to prevent ongoing harm to institutional reputation and patient safety. The live stream audience was losing their minds at Legal Eagle 2025. She has emergency powers at hospital admin. That's real. I've seen those charters at Power Move Chess Master level strategy. Catherine Walsh nodded slowly. Amara's correct. The board approved those emergency powers this morning as part of her appointment. She has full authority to act. Then I'm implementing all recommended measures immediately, Amara announced, pulling out a digital signature pad. Termination letters for all involved staff will be processed within the hour. The discrimination reporting system goes live tomorrow. Community donations will be wired by end of business today. She looked directly at Tom Bradley. Tom, your administrative access is revoked as of this moment. Security will escort you to collect your personal belongings. Bradley's legs nearly gave out completely. Dr. Johnson, please. I have a family, a mortgage, 15 years with this hospital, and in 15 years, you never learned that treating people with dignity was part of your job description. Amara's voice remained steady, but there was still beneath the calm. Your actions today weren't just unprofessional, they were dehumanizing. She turned to Brenda, whose mascara had created dark tracks down her cheeks. Brenda, your 15 years of experience apparently taught you that you could judge people's worth by their clothing. That VIP treatment was something you could gatekeep based on racial profiling. The crowd was silent, witnessing systematic accountability in real time. Marcus Rodriguez Thompson Davis, Amara continued, addressing each security guard individually. You were prepared to arrest a physician for standing in a hospital lobby. You escalated a nonviolent situation because you couldn't imagine that a black woman in casual clothes might have legitimate business in your VIP area. Her tablet chimed softly. The termination letters were generating automatically, pulled from templates she'd apparently prepared in advance. Chairman Roberts spoke from the phone. Dr. Johnson, the board is prepared to ratify all your emergency actions. We're also authorizing an additional $100,000 for bias prevention training across all Metro Healthcare Network facilities. Accepted, Amara replied. I'm also recommending that this incident become a mandatory case study for all healthcare administration programs. Let other institutions learn from our failures. The live stream hit 298,000 viewers. Sarah was barely coherent with excitement. Y'all, this is the most incredible accountability moment I have ever witnessed. This woman just restructured an entire hospital system in real time. Doctor. Patricia Chen stepped forward, her voice shaking with emotion. Dr. Johnson, I apologize for not speaking up more forcefully. I knew who you were, and I let them silence me. Amara's expression softened slightly. Patricia, you tried 3 times to intervene. You were following chain of command when ordered to stand down. That's exactly why we need these new whistleblower protections. She consulted her watch. 3:47 p.m. The board meeting that started this entire incident was now 47 minutes behind schedule. Chairman Roberts, I recommend we proceed with today's emergency budget session. The diversity and inclusion initiatives we plan to discuss are now more urgent than ever. Agreed. Dr. Johnson, thank you for your leadership during this crisis. The board looks forward to your full report. The call ended. The lobby was dead silent except for the soft sobbing coming from Brenda's desk and the constant ping of notifications from hundreds of phones recording every moment. Amara looked around the circle of terminated employees. Her expression neither vindictive nor celebratory. Just tired. I want to be clear about something, she said, addressing not just the immediate crowd, but the nearly 300,000 people watching online. This wasn't about revenge. This was about accountability. She gestured toward the VIP lounge behind the frosted glass doors. Every person who walks through this hospital deserves to be treated with dignity. Whether they're wearing scrubs, suits, or jeans and sneakers, whether they're black, white, brown, rich, poor, or anywhere in between. The live stream comments had shifted at Heart Patient 2020. Dr. Johnson saved my daughter's life. She's a hero. At Med Student, this is what leadership looks like at Nurse Manager. Every hospital needs someone like her. Security guards were already approaching to escort the terminated employees from the building. Tom Bradley walked past Amara with his head down. His 15-year career ended by 17 minutes of documented bias. But as he reached the lobby exit, Amara called out one final time, Tom, this doesn't have to define you. Learn from it. Do better. He paused at the door, shoulders shaking, but didn't turn around. The systematic change drive Amara Johnson had implemented in less than an hour would reshape not just Metro General Hospital, but health care institutions across the country. And it all started with jeans, sneakers, and the quiet dignity of a woman who refused to be invisible. 3 hours later, the transformation was already visible. The first termination letter had been handed delivered to Tom Bradley as security escorted him from the building. His 15-year career ended with a single page of official hospital letterhead witnessed by 312,000 people who had watched his downfall unfold in real time. Brenda Martinez cleaned out her desk while hospital staff whispered around her. 15 years of gatekeeping the VIP area, 15 years of deciding who belonged based on appearance, ended with a cardboard box and a security escort to the parking garage. Marcus Williams surrendered his security badge and radio at 4:23 p.m. His contract with Metro General was terminated immediately with a notation in his file that would follow him to any future healthcare security positions. The other guards, Rodriguez, Thompson, and Davis, received similar treatment. Janet Reed, the floor supervisor, was given a choice: resign with a neutral reference or face formal termination proceedings with cause. She chose resignation effective immediately. But the real change was happening in the system's drive Johnson had put in motion. By 5000 p.m., the hospital's IT department had launched the Equity Watch mobile app, a real-time bias incident reporting system with direct connections to external oversight agencies. Any patient, visitor, or staff member could document discrimination, with photo, video, and automatic timestamp evidence. The app's first report came in at 5:17 p.m. A complaint about dismissive treatment in the emergency department. Within minutes, a patient advocate was dispatched to investigate. The new system was already working. Dr. Patricia Chen stood in the VIP lounge where it all began, now serving as the interim patient experience coordinator while recruitment began for additional equity officers. She was reviewing the new universal respect protocol that would be implemented hospital-wide. Every interaction begins with dignity, she read aloud to the small group of department heads assembled for emergency training. No assumptions about patient or visitor status based on appearance, dress, or perceived socioeconomic background. The protocol was comprehensive: mandatory check-ins with all individuals seeking access to any hospital area, respectful inquiry about their needs, and immediate escalation to supervisors if anyone felt discriminated against. In the hospital's executive conference room, Chairman Roberts was addressing the emergency board session via video conference. The financial impact has been significant but manageable. Stock prices have stabilized after Dr. Johnson's press conference showed our commitment to systematic reform. The numbers were stark. $89 million in initial market cap loss, but recovery was already beginning as investors saw decisive leadership. The $750,000 in community donations, increased from the original $500,000 due to delays in implementation, were being processed through the hospital's foundation. More importantly, Chairman Roberts continued, we're already receiving inquiries from other health care systems wanting to adopt the Metro model of discrimination response. This incident may become a catalyst for industry-wide change. Outside the hospital, news crews were wrapping up their coverage. The story had dominated local news cycles and gained national attention. CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC had all covered the incident, with most focusing on Dr. Johnson's systematic approach to accountability rather than individual punishment. Sarah Mitchell, the nursing student whose live stream had captured everything, was giving her final interview to Channel 7 News. This wasn't just about one woman being discriminated against, she explained to the reporter. This was about how institutions can change when someone with knowledge and power decides to use both for justice. Her live stream had peaked at 347,000 viewers before ending at 6:30 p.m. The hashtag MetroJustice had replaced MetroGeneral discrimination, trending with stories of systematic reform rather than individual outrage. Inside the cardiac surgery wing, Drive, Johnson was finally able to return to her primary job. She scrubbed in for an emergency surgery. A 42-year-old construction worker who'd suffered a heart attack on the job. His family waited in the regular waiting area, not the VIP lounge, but they received the same level of care and attention that had previously been reserved for premium patients. The surgery took 3 hours. It was successful. When Dr. Johnson emerged from the operating room at 9:45 p.m., she found a crowd waiting in the hallway, not protesters or media. These were her patients, people whose lives she'd saved over her years at Metro General. Maria Santos held her 7-year-old daughter's hand, the child whose congenital heart defect Drive Johnson had repaired that morning before the incident in the VIP lounge. Doctor, Maria said in accented English, we saw the news. Thank you for fighting for people like us. Behind them stood dozens of former patients, heart surgery survivors, their families, people who understood that the woman in jeans and sneakers was the same person who'd held their lives in her skilled hands. Mrs. Patterson, whose triple bypass had been completed that morning, was there in her wheelchair, cleared for a few minutes outside her room. Dr. Johnson, she said, her voice still weak from surgery. You saved my life this morning. Then you saved a lot of other people this afternoon. The impromptu gathering wasn't planned or orchestrated. It was organic recognition from a community that understood the significance of what had happened. By 1000 p.m., the hospital's new systems were already showing results. The Equity Watch app had logged 7 reports in its first 5 hours. Not all discrimination, but all situations where patients felt their concerns weren't being heard. Each had been addressed within 30 minutes. The bias training programs had been scheduled for all 1,247 hospital employees starting the following Monday. The curriculum included Drive, Johnson's recorded incident as a case study in recognizing and preventing institutional discrimination. The Independent Patient Equity Review Board had been established with 5 community members, including a civil rights attorney, a social worker, a former patient advocate, a religious leader, and a small business owner from the hospital's surrounding neighborhood. Most significantly, the Metro model was already being replicated. Hospitals in Chicago, Atlanta, and Los Angeles had contacted Drive Johnson's office requesting consultation on implementing similar systems. Health care administration programs at 3 major universities had reached out about incorporating the incident into their curriculum. The Joint Commission had scheduled a comprehensive review for the following month, not as punishment, but as a case study in rapid institutional reform. The Department of Health and Human Services had sent a letter commending the hospital's proactive response to the discrimination incident. At 11:30 p.m., Drive Johnson finally returned to her office. The day had started with 3 life-saving surgeries and ended with systematic transformation of institutional bias. She was exhausted, but not defeated. Her computer showed 127 emails from media outlets requesting interviews, 43 speaking invitations from medical conferences, and 12 job offers from other hospital systems. She ignored them all. Instead, she opened a new document and began typing. Incident report, VIP lounge discrimination, lessons learned, and systematic reforms implemented. The report would become required reading in healthcare administration programs across the country. The incident would be studied, analyzed, and replicated. The changes would outlast the careers of everyone involved. But for Dr. Amara Johnson, the most important outcome was simpler. Tomorrow, when patients walked into Metro General Hospital, they would all be treated with the dignity every human being deserved. The revolution had started with jeans, sneakers, and quiet dignity. It ended with systematic change that would protect countless others who might not have had her resources, knowledge, or platform. Real power, she had proven, wasn't about revenge or humiliation. It was about building systems that protected the next person who walked through those doors. 6 months later, Metro General Hospital received its Bias-Free Excellence certification, the first health care facility in the state to achieve this designation. Patient satisfaction scores had increased 34%. Staff diversity improved 42%. 0 discrimination complaints had been filed since the reforms took effect. The transformation was measurable and lasting. Dr. Amara Johnson's case study became required curriculum in 67 healthcare administration programs nationwide. The Metro model had been adopted by 89 hospitals across 23 states. The Equity Watch app had prevented over 400 documented bias incidents across medical facilities nationwide. More importantly, the story had shifted from individual accountability to systematic change. Healthcare workers of color reported feeling safer and more supported. Patients from underserved communities described improved experiences and trust in medical institutions. But the most profound change was cultural. The incident had sparked conversations in boardrooms, break rooms, and medical schools about the unconscious biases that permeate healthcare. Dr. Johnson's quiet dignity had become a masterclass in strategic activism, proving that real strength lies in dismantling bias with intelligence, evidence, and systematic reform rather than anger or revenge. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Have you witnessed discrimination in healthcare settings, in retail spaces, in professional environments where someone's appearance led to assumptions about their worth or belonging? Share your experiences in the comments below. Tag someone who needs to see this message. Subscribe to Hidden Turns for more justice victories. Remember, you don't need a medical degree or board position to demand dignity. You need documentation, witnesses, and the courage to speak truth to power. Every injustice witnessed is an opportunity for change. Every story shared builds toward justice. Every person who refuses to be invisible makes space for others to be seen. Justice isn't just served, it's systematically built.